Hello, this is Slingshot120, and today I wanted to give my 100-hour review of Forza Horizon 6. Except I thought that was kind of unfair for the game, so this is my 4-week review after experiencing all 4 seasons and a full playlist, and giving everything in the game a good try. Except that's also not true. Well, kinda. So since I pre-ordered the game, I got early access to it 5 days in advance, and those 5 extra days were based in spring. Which, if I manage to make this video on time, it still won't even be spring yet in the Series 1 playlist. And if you're wondering why I'm doing it in this weird time frame, I was going to make this whole video next week during the spring season, but on May 21st, my favorite game announced its ending support, and the big final update is coming out on the 9th, and I really want to play that, and not even think about Forza, or writing this skit, or making this video. I just want to play the last update to my favorite game and to not even think about anything else. So anyway, what have I accomplished? In the first 100 hours that I've played, I beat the whole main story, all the side stories, including maxing out the driver rank for Raku Raku. I discovered the entire map and got every single collectible and special location. I've played all 4 seasons, raced on every single track in the game and set at least 1 rivals time on each of them. Raced extensively online in both normal and spec racing, with and without friends, drifted for hours in open tandem lobbies, cruised around the map with friends, and played every single game mode at least once. And as of the time of writing this on June 6th, I've logged 7.1 days, or 170 hours because the Xbox app on PC tells you days and not hours for some reason. So to start off, I want to talk about the positives this game has. First off, the bump in visual quality is way bigger than the jump we got from 3 going into 4 and 4 going into 5. Everything is super colorful, densely packed, and the map in general is just very nice to look at no matter what season it is. It's just always nice to look at the scenery no matter where you are on the map. Speaking of the map, this map is definitely the best we've got in the Horizon series. The road layout, the elevation, the regions are damn near perfect. Tokyo City is still confusing to navigate even after 100 hours, and it still feels new every time I'm there, even though I've technically been down every single road. Pretty much everything I was hoping for in my wishlist video for the map pretty much came true. We got a 3-lane highway with multiple loops, plenty of areas to park up with friends and get some pictures. There's multiple racetracks, even our dirt rally track in the open world. The overall density of props is good. There's plenty of togeys, seasons actually do things unlike in Horizon 5. And oh my god, the amount of drift spots are overwhelmingly good. And we got permanent snow up north. Although I wish, at least during the winter season, it did get a bit deeper and more powdery on the mountain during winter. Otherwise, this map is head over shoulders better than any Horizon map in every way. Not just from the brain rot point of view being, oh, the map's bigger, therefore better. Now, onto the cars. The car audio so far is some of the best I've heard in the Horizon series. Everything from cars idling, interior noise, brakes squeaking when they're cold, overrun sounding good and not over dramatic, anti-lag now even sounds good. And my god, they finally made Pro Chargers sound fantastic in this game. Take a listen. There might be a couple cars that sound bad or have inaccurate sound files, but so far, out of all the cars I've played with, they all sound fantastic. Then visually, the cars that got new models look really good, and the majority of the Forza Edition cars look fucking insane. And that's just looking at the Viper, the F450, and that monster truck BRZ with the Tacoma time attack thing. And if they don't look insane enough, they're probably obnoxiously fast like the GTR and the 917. Otherwise, when it comes to the rest of the car list, it's got a pretty good selection overall. Sure, it isn't perfect and there's a lot of cars that were cut from Horizon 5, but it's still pretty good and has a little bit of everything. Otherwise, when it comes to driving these cars, the driving physics feel better than they have ever felt. Steering feels way more snappy and quicker, especially in the lower speed turns. Cars feel very well weighted and planted to the ground. and it still has that very satisfying feel you expect from a Horizon game. Then from a speed perspective, even stock cars all the way down in B and C class feel decently quick. And then at the polar opposite, going all the way up to R and X class, the cars feel like they took every performance-enhancing drug the world has ever seen and washed it down with crack. They feel ludicrously fast, and I fucking love it. Then when it comes to off-road, rally racing feels pretty good, and so does cross-country racing for the most part. Only exception I can think of is when you hit a jump, it seems like it's a 50-50 chance if your truck's gonna do a front flip and nosedive into the ground. And if I had to guess why, it's because the ramps are curved, rather than just one flat panel at a fixed angle. Then the overall quality of life updates for the cars are very nice. Race transmissions actually shift instantly like a sequential, even on normal manual shifting, and they don't even require you to use the clutch when using manual clutch, if you didn't know. And when building a car, a lot of them have engine swaps that are actually downgrades, and you could put your car almost 2 whole classes down in terms of PI, which I think is pretty cool. Then to end off the positives, I can't believe we have to count this, but technically the game launched in a fully functioning state, unlike the last 2 games. Day 1, I was able to play with my friends online, and the only problems we seem to have is just some stuttering and frame drop issues that are easy enough to fix with capping your FPS or just lowering your settings overall, and just some minor texture and visual issues that I'm sure will be addressed in due time. Man, it sucks that in this day and age we have to count the game working at launch as an actual win. Man, we are evolving backwards. Now, on to the negatives. I'm gonna list firstly the things that I think are a negative to the overall game, things that don't only affect me, but all of us, and stuff that I think Playground Games should fix or address. Then I'm gonna list the stuff that personally bothers me about this game. So to start off with the AI. Those goddamn clankers are now cheating on a whole new level. Like, they make the AI in every other Forza game look like the most polite individuals I've ever met. In Horizon 6, the AI will constantly dive bomb and ram you into every single corner, rubber band to a cartoonish amount, and the usual problem of the fastest one in the race is the one that's already starting in first place, so even if you are faster, you have to fight through 10 other dipshit AIs before you can even start to chase down first place, who at that point already has a 2-mile lead on you. And this isn't just me. Some of the AI's names are used for memes because that's how chaotic and unpredictable they are at no matter what difficulty you use. The ramming part is at least explainable. The AI has one set line to follow, and when they see you go onto the shoulder to take a wider line, they will see you as pretty much crashing or going too wide, so they just don't acknowledge you. But the rubber banding is just straight up cartoonish. When I was doing the Colossus, the race that's a big loop around the whole highway system, it took me 3 times to win that race. At first I picked the AMG one, the game gifted me one. It wasn't fast enough. Then I went to buy my first car out of the auto show. Everything at that point in my garage was a wheel spin or a gift. And I used my car voucher to buy a 918, because the Koenigsegg 1-to-1 is now a wheel spin exclusive car. The 918 got beat and I didn't feel like upgrading it. Then I went back to the auto show, bought a Koenigsegg Agera, put 1300 horsepower in it, and when we were going through the tunnel before entering Tokyo City, there was an Aventador that was drafting me the whole way. He just decided to go 1 lane over at the same speed. We're both doing about 280, and in an instant, he flew by me at like 50 miles an hour more. While keep in mind, we are doing like 280 miles an hour. They do cheat a little bit. Otherwise, in rally and cross country, they don't even really try in comparison. Oh, and the best part is when you're racing these AI in the festival playlist events, at least in the co-op ones, they don't even try to move off the line. They just sit there for like a good 5 seconds. I definitely think Playground Games should take a look at the drivatars because they're just extremely inconsistent between race types, PI classes, and the co-op races. And they still don't even acknowledge the player's existence if you're anywhere near them. That, and on the topic of AI, the traffic AI will randomly bug out, drive off the road, or just drive head on into each other. Pretty much all the AI that can drive in this game are drunk or something. Then the next thing I want to cover is they need to address this pretty much as soon as possible. For those of you who aren't aware, the meta for some road races involve fucking drag racing tires. I just want to say that again for those in the back. There is a meta for a race with turns that involves drag tires. They need to address this outliner as soon as possible. Like, I could tolerate the all-wheel drive V12 swapping everything since Horizon 3, the Bone Shaker in Horizon 4, and rally tires being the meta for road racing in Horizon 5, but those drag tires are such a worse outlier than any of the previous metas. In the majority of races where I go against these players, even on tracks that aren't just high-speed layouts, they can wall ride multiple walls, get like 50 slowdown penalties, and still almost DNF anyone who isn't using drag tires. This is such a shit meta. Like, I've always been able to keep up with the previous 3 games metas on my own terms, but this is just straight up retarded to keep in the game without changes. Horizon is a live service game. You need to change this like any other live service game changes metas around, and gives things buffs and nerfs. No one's going to want to race against the drag tire meta in a year from now, let alone 5 years when this game is still in its live service. The next thing I want to cover is the festival playlist. So as of just experiencing Season 1, the bulk of the cars in it are cars we have had in the majority of Forza titles. Like, the big monthly reward car is a 370Z, a car we've had in every single Forza game except Motorsport 1, 2, and the last one they made that's a dead meme. Like, we can buy the 370Z in Nismo, but the normal Z that was buyable in every other Forza is now some rare one-off car. The other one includes cars like the Evo 9, the R33, the 91 CRX, Lamborghini Countach, and the MC12. These cars are now just random one-off cars because they just are. However, some I don't really mind, like the Mazda Furai, the Saleen S7 Le Mans or LM, or the Huayra R, because these cars were either only in Forza Motorsport or DLC in 5. In my opinion, once a car is in the auto show in one game without the need for DLC to purchase it, it should remain in the auto show for everyone to buy in every future title. The festival playlist should be for Wheelspin exclusive cars and new cars, whether it's a new to Forza car or one that was cut to get its model remade. It's not going to feel good to spend 30 minutes a week just to get back a car we've had for multiple years and multiple titles in a row, and there's nothing new about it besides maybe an engine swap. Like, as of right now, the only new cars in the playlist are the Furai, because that was technically a motorsport only car, the Altezza, and this is a very big technicality since the one that we used to have was just the RS200, but the one that we have now is the RS200Z edition. Oh boy, an interior and visual package. And the only one that's fully new to the Forza series as a whole is the Starlet. We technically only got one single new car in the first month of the game, and 2 imported from Motorsport. Only 3 of the 31 playlist exclusive cars right now in Series 1 are new. Hopefully in future playlists we get majority new to Forza cars, or ones that were only in Motorsport and haven't been in the Horizon series yet. Now onto the stuff that just bothers me about Horizon 6. First off, progression felt a little more artificial than realistic. Cars were still being thrown at me outside the welcome pack and DLC cars, and I did kind of like the festival system Horizon 5 had more, where you could pick what racing type you were doing over what's in Horizon 6, where you're kind of jumping back and forth between road, rally, and cross country like every other race. I still think having a mix of both options to pick one racing discipline with the wristband progression telling you what PI you can and can't use would be the best progression system. Then at the end of the campaign, Legend Island wasn't really that special at all. It's just a festival outpost with a racetrack. There's not even like a big mansion to buy on that island. It's just kinda there. Then, dialogue somehow got even worse. It wasn't as blatantly annoying as it was in Horizon 5, but now it just feels super bland. Kinda like me. Like, the VAs were only allowed to record one sentence every hour and by themselves in the recording room. It's like they had no one else in there to bounce off of, like they were actually trying to have that conversation with one of their fellow VAs. That and the side stories outside of the main campaign and barn finds were just really boring to listen to. I muted voice audio halfway through the main story, then I turned it back on to see how bad the side stories were and instantly remuted them. Like I have stated before, I am not looking for some storytelling masterpiece. I just want something that's palatable. Not here's some characters you instantly don't like and couldn't care less about, and you mute the audio. Then when it comes to the cars, DLC cars like the Time Attack cars, the Car Pass cars, and the Welcome cars are just instantly added to your garage. Day one having what felt like 30 R-Class race cars was just kind of annoying and overwhelming. And when the Group A R32 dropped, I didn't even know it was in my garage until I went to go buy it in the auto show and noticed it wasn't free. Just stop doing that. I like going through all these cars and claiming them at my own pace when I want to. Then there's more one-off cars. Outside of the normal sources like the journal that replaced accolades from Horizon 5, Wheelspin exclusives, and the festival playlist. Now we have treasure cars. That 4GT, I wanted 2 of them to make into different cars. I now have to jump back and forth with the one and only one I will ever have, like a barn find. Then on to car customization. The car customization was really overpromised, which I kind of expected. Sure, new engine swaps and the new Forza Aero are on nearly every car, but that's what most of them only got, was the new Forza Aero and maybe one new engine swap, if they're lucky. No body kits or anything visual, and when you say, in quotes, Forza Horizon 6 will feature more than 550 cars at launch, those cars will have new body kits and Forza Aero, you kinda set that up to fail when the bulk of the cars don't have anything outside of new Forza Aero. That, and as a community, let's be honest, we'll be shitting on the new Forza Aero like we did in 4 and 5 in about 5 years. Because on some cars, a swan neck just doesn't really look good. Then there's just a lot of cars you can't get rid of at all. I knew from Horizon 5 that barn finds couldn't be removed or sold in the auction house anymore, so if you didn't want them, you just don't claim them in this game. But now, the pre-order J50 and the Forza Edition Lotus Avija are just thrown into your garage and you can't remove them. There is absolutely nothing I like about that Lotus or that Ferrari. Let me throw them away, along with the barn find cars I do not care for. Let it be my mistake if I throw it out and I can never reclaim it again. Let it be up to me. Then, the gear wind bug from Horizon 5, where if you picked any other race transmission other than the default would mute all gear wind, got fixed. Then some of the cars that have a race transmission stock have gear wind you can't get rid of, like the Huracan Evo, while cars like the 918 Spider, while also having a 7-speed race transmission stock like the Huracan Evo, have absolutely no gear wind at all. It kind of ruins just making basic street cars, like the GT350 Mustang has a really bad 6th gear, so just to shorten it, I have to hear gear whine. Or if it comes with a 4-speed that gear limits you to 100 miles an hour, you either don't go fast, or you hear gear whine. It kind of just ruins making a street car. That, and speaking of cars that I want, a lot of the cars I would consider staple cars to me were either removed completely out of the game, or are all just Wheelspin exclusive cars. Kind of annoying. Then, I guess the next thing would be the 72 player lobbies, but you can only see 12 is still kind of meh. And now you can't even pause and look at the players on the map to see where they are or what car they're in. The dots on the map just don't show up there. Then there's just a lot of visual and audible clutter. Like whenever you get near an icon that you can interact with, it plays this audio cue every single time. And it's already gotten annoying and we've only been in the game for 3 weeks. Drift zone flags are still an eyesore in the open world, PR stunts in general still flashbang you and muffle the radio when you're in them. You can hear another player's car radio when you're near them. That's just annoying. I do not want to hear that at all. Whenever you enter a region, the big text saying which region you just entered covers your screen. I've already discovered everything, 100% completed everything on the map. Let me turn that off. Forza links from other players still make noise even when you have links turned off. Challenge icons above cars don't go away even if you both have the option turned off. Then the HUD in general is still super cluttered. Like, I don't want to see floating icons telling me there's a race here, or a story mission I've already completed, used cars, or here's one of my houses from a mile away. Let me turn that all off and have a fully clean HUD with only the minimap and the speedometer, and no more audio cues from anything I don't want to hear. Anyway, I guess to wrap up this video, I'm gonna list things that I would like to see sooner rather than later in the game. First off, I want more options rather than just the favorite option in my garage. Can we at least get more defaults so we can at least mark what's a race car, a rally car, a cross-country truck, drift cars, and drag cars? There's just too many cars to pick from, and it's getting kind of annoying keeping track of them at this point. Then, while we're in the garage, let me get rid of any car I want. Even if it's a car I will never be able to reacquire ever again. Then the option to mute gear whine on any car. I still want to have it for race cars, but I do not want to hear any gear whine in a street car. Another thing I would like to see is also a new tuning menu added to give us adjustable launch control, because at the start of some races, some cars are just dead when you can't rev before the race starts. And some cars' launch control settings by default don't rev high enough to make your launch better. Then when it comes to the HUD and audio, I want the option to fully turn off and mute anything I don't want to hear or see, and the option to visually get rid of PR stunts. Let me drive around this map with as little clutter and audio cues as I want. Then for racing, I'd like to see a playlist that's more of a grassroots style playlist, where you could pick between racing only all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or any drivetrain in any class of your choosing. But depending on the division and PI class, you need to follow some rules. Like if you're in an S1 road race, you can only race a car that has semi-slicks or full slicks. No rally tires, no drag tires, just slicks. Or for rally, you can only use rally tires and not off-road tires. Something like that, so if you don't want to just race the meta that's currently looks like it's just going to be drag tires in A and S1, you don't have to interact with it at all. Then when it comes to social features, I think all I really want to see is private lobbies come back. Like, let us pick the season, what the weather looks like, and the option to turn traffic on and off. Just give us that. We've been asking for years at this point, and there's no good reason to say it is a bad idea, and we shouldn't get it. Then secondly, can we have car clubs back? But not like the ones from Horizon 4 and 5. I want the in-game ones similar to what we saw last in Horizon 3. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. That's what I do and don't like about Horizon 6 and what I hope they add later on. I'll probably do a update to this in about a year as like a, how was the first year of Horizon 6 review. Otherwise, let me know what you guys think. Have a good one. Later.